get deeper into the business of the day, which is the stock market reportage, which we have the intraday market numbers coming in from 4 of the major African equities market that we track, always starting from the home base here. 0.02% intraday gain for the Nigerian bourse, 107,807.88. That's the last number that we saw just about an hour ago. We see the year-to-date is about 4.72%. It has reduced. In value terms, the market has lost about 215 billion naira, but that's no thanks to the impact of profit taking on about 48 equities there. But you see the market at intraday still trying to make some comeback there at that number, which we see, which is not too far from what it closed for yesterday. And for the Johannesburg Stock Exchange, we see that 0.68%. That's more than 0.5% gain at intraday, 88,347.44 for that South African bourse at intraday activity. While for the other markets that we track there, for the EGX as well as the Nairobi Stock Exchange in Kenya, we see the markets also being mostly in the positive terrain there for both for Tuesday as well as for intraday for the EGX and for the Nairobi Stock Exchange. And now talking more about the Nigerian stock market. Well, yesterday we talked about the market reacting to that FGN bond auction being carried out by the Debt Management Office. So the effect that it had, first of all, on the fixed income market, but we know that there's a correlation between the fixed income market and the equities market. So this time, in terms of the yield and the reaction to investors within the equities market, let's catch a glimpse of what impact that had for the local bourse. And we have Abiodun Adedotun, equity trader with FGN Quest, to tell us more about that, as well as the intraday movement of the equities, the stocks listed on the NGX. Thank you for joining us, Abiodun.
Thank you very much, Victor. It's good to be here again.
Oh, yeah. I'm back, and I'm glad to have you again. Okay, so now my first question has to do with the FGN bond auction. I'm sure you've been tracking that as well. So how did investors react to it, especially when you take a look at, I know the market didn't really take a look at the GDP numbers, which came in quite significantly at a 3-year high. But how did the market react to the FGN bond auction, which is the very first for the year?
Yeah, yesterday we witnessed profit taking, especially among banking counters, and pretty much what we attribute it to is a little bit of asset reallocation. Of course, we know there's been so much being said around about the interest rate regime being high, and the CBN governor has come out to say it's not sustainable for us to continue to keep rates this high, but it looks like this is the beginning of the descent in flight for the interest rates. And of course, we've seen quite a bit of corporates trying to take a bit of advantage of the last days of this high regime of interest rates. So we've seen a little bit of sell-offs, but the market is holding steadily right now in many names.
Okay, so now we know that Nigeria's economy, at some point we have this, there's still some macroeconomic challenges. But so far, what are the things shaping the equities market within the last 3 trading days of February?
The key driver is going to be earnings. You recall many of these companies have had, for those that have the year end December 31st, they've announced the unaudited results for the year. So we expect others to announce the earnings season to kickstart in full, and companies to begin to come out with corporate actions, particularly the banks. All eyes on the banks. They've come to raise capital, and investors are gearing up to see how the returns on these investments is going to begin to pay off. So the market is a bit anxious about what these companies will do, and I think that's what's going to drive the next 3 days.
Okay, so Abiodun, so my final question would be, what other things should the market expect within the banking sector, the bigwigs, the ones that we call the fugas? Because I know that as at yesterday, we saw a lot of profit taking on the likes of Access Bank and other the tier one lenders. So what are we to expect besides the numbers of which are expected to come from the earnings?
Already we've started seeing a little bit of cherry picking, in select names. It's not as profit taking as we witnessed yesterday. And of course, profit takers also are beginning to take a step off the gas. We expect the market to maintain a lot of stability in the coming days for current levels. We don't expect to see so much knee-jerk kind of reaction going forward, at least to the end of the month.
All right, Abiodun, so I think we'll just leave it there for the markets. And I know that the market, but currently, can you tell us how is the intraday market movement for the all share index, which has been oscillating a little bit in between 107 and after dropping a little bit from the 108,000 points?
It's pretty stable. It's very, very stable. It's all calm here. The volumes are not coming in as you'd expect. Investors are approaching it cautiously. Though we've seen a little bit of sell pressure, sellers indicating willingness to sell in big lender like Zenith, right? It's been stable for what bank has gained. GTB is a little bit under pressure, not so much volumes going on there. So it's been pretty much stable. I expect the market to close around these current levels.
Okay, so now in terms of earnings, I know that in some other countries, particularly in the United States, as well as some Middle East stocks, Middle East markets, they're still in earnings season. This is for Q1 is just about a month before we get into Q1. But let's talk more about some earnings recorded in Q4. Are we to expect any other earnings from any of the listed equities on the domestic bourse?
Yeah, of course. We're supposed to expect. Seplat just announced that they will be announcing their Q4 on March 4th, and there will be an analyst call. The big banks, those that are going to be coming up with the full audited numbers will come to announce theirs before the end of March. I think GTB, Zenith, and a few others, you understand. So we would expect to get more, you understand, between now and the end of March.
Okay, Bill, so I think we'll leave it there. And of course, look out for how the market ends midweek trading session and then count down to the end of February into the first week of March and next week. So thank you so much for your time on our show.
You're welcome.
That was Abiodun Adedotun, equity trader with FGN Quest, giving us details about Nigeria's stock market, earnings, and what to expect from those of you who are investors as well as those who are intending to invest in the domestic bourse.